I'm gonna be at Grandma's house for a little bit.
Nothing's gonna bother us. Not anymore. We have our son back. We are a family again.
Still happening.
What is?
Tell us, what does she want?
This is in the hallway.
When the story of a family plagued by forces beyond the veil continues, the atmosphere deepens into something heavier, colder, and far more personal than before. The tale resumes in the unsettling quiet that follows a night of terror, as if the walls themselves are holding their breath, waiting for the next tremor to ripple through a house that has already seen too much. The strange events that once hovered around the edges of the Lambert family's life are no longer whispers in darkened corners. They have pushed their way fully into the light. What was once a nightmare that could be shaken off with morning sun has now merged with reality, shaping every expression, every uneasy glance, and every shadow stretching across the floor. The sense of relief that should have washed over everyone after the rescue is dampened by a lingering, invisible weight. Something feels wrong, as though an unseen presence has followed them back. The family tries to settle into the fragile illusion of normalcy, telling themselves that the danger has passed, but their home refuses to let them forget. There is a tension in the air that no one wants to admit. Lights flicker. Doors creak without reason. A soft thud echoes through the hallway when no one else is awake. Every sound becomes a question, and every silence becomes an answer they are afraid to hear. In this uneasy atmosphere, the emotional turmoil begins to surface. There is a worry growing beneath the surface of every conversation. The father, once the pillar of calm strength, now behaves with a strange stiffness, as though someone else has borrowed his skin and is learning how to move inside it. His smile lasts a second too long. His voice holds a tone that wasn't there before. The love remains, but something behind his eyes has shifted into a darker realm. His family senses it, even though none of them want to believe the possibility that the person they fought so hard to save may not have returned alone. Meanwhile, the mother's instincts sharpen like a blade. She remembers the chilling discoveries from the past, the line that separates the living world from the other side, and the horrifying encounters with things that should not exist. Every bone in her body tells her that the danger has not ended. It has only changed its shape. As she listens to the creaks in the house and the distant echoes of footsteps that do not belong to any living family member, her fear becomes a quiet determination. She refuses to let this darkness claim her family again. Tracing the roots of their haunting becomes imperative. The mystery pulls them backwards, into memories long buried, into moments from childhood that were once too fearful to confront. It becomes clear that what they face now is more than a lingering spirit. It is a presence with history, motives, and a twisted connection to their lives that goes far deeper than anyone expected. Unraveling that connection means opening doors that have been shut for decades, doors that lead to tragedies, obsessions, and a figure whose influence reaches across time like the tendrils of a nightmare, creeping through generations. The journey draws them back to the enigmatic world known as the further, a place that defies logic, where time folds over itself, where the living and dead mingle, and where echoes of past choices linger like ghosts, repeating themselves endlessly. The oppressive darkness there feels thicker this time, as if the place recognizes them and hungers for their return. Within this realm, memories distort, voices call out from unseen corners, and familiar faces appear twisted into forms that reflect fear rather than comfort. The boundaries of the human mind are tested, stretched to where sanity becomes a fragile thread hanging over an abyss of despair. In their search for answers, the family finds unexpected allies. Figures who once aided them return with renewed resolve, following clues left behind by someone who devoted their life to understanding the world of spirits. These investigators, quirky, persistent, and unshaken by the bizarre, bring not only humor into the darkness, but also essential guidance. Their knowledge extends deeper than before, fueled by the legacy of the medium who had once stood between the Lambert family and the forces of the further. Her presence, though lost to the physical world, lingers like a guiding hand from beyond, shaping their path with clues she left behind in moments of intuition and sacrifice. As the truth unfolds, it becomes clear that the entity haunting them is not a simple, restless spirit. It is something far more sinister, tied to a painful history of manipulation, control, and hidden trauma. The identity behind the ghost reveals a story of childhood misery and a descent into madness, a story that manifests in terrifying apparitions and vengeful attacks. This antagonist is not just lurking in shadows, it is woven into the very structure of the haunting, using fear as both weapon and language. Its presence shifts from eerie whispers in the walls to violent intrusions, turning the home into a battlefield between the living and the dead. Moments of confrontation carry a palpable dread. Objects move with startling aggression. A ghostly figure appears just out of the corner of one's vision, disappearing the moment eyes turn to acknowledge it. The danger escalates until the family can no longer pretend everything is fine. The father's behavior deteriorates, revealing the terrifying truth that something else is controlling him from within. His internal struggle becomes a silent war, one that plays out in flickers of expression and sudden bursts of violence that he cannot explain. The spirit inhabiting him tightens its grip, using his body as a vessel for its unfinished wrath. The stakes sharpen to a razor edge. Time becomes a crucial factor. The family races to uncover the truth behind the spirit's past, piecing together memories and records that speak of a childhood twisted by cruelty and an adulthood spiraling into horror. Understanding this history is the only way to break the chain binding the spirit to their family. Through these discoveries, a picture emerges of a person who was once a victim but grew into something monstrous under the weight of their torment. It is a reminder of how pain, when left unhealed, can forge a darkness that reaches far beyond the grave. Their search eventually leads them to a place filled with whispers of the past, a home that once belonged to someone whose influence hangs heavily in the air. Dusty photographs, abandoned rooms, and silent hallways hold the fragments of a life that shaped the nightmare they now face. Each object tells a story, each shadow hints at a memory, and each creaking floorboard seems to acknowledge their presence with a warning. As they uncover the truth behind the ghost's identity, they also come face to face with the long-standing wounds that created this haunting. Parallel to the investigation in the living world, the journey into the further intensifies. The spectral realm becomes a maze of distorted time, where the father wanders through echoes of his own past, seeing moments from his childhood he had forgotten. He confronts the truth of what he once witnessed, but could not understand an encounter with a spirit whose influence has shadowed his life since he was a child. These scenes, enveloped in a dreamlike haze, serve as both revelation and torment. He understands that the haunting is not new, but something that has grown alongside him, waiting for the right moment to strike. As he grapples with these revelations, the realm around him shifts, its dark corridors tightening like a net. Voices from across time bleed into one another. Doors appear and vanish. Figures drift in and out of sight, trapped in loops of their own unfinished stories. The further becomes a living entity, responding to his fear, pulling him deeper into its labyrinth. But within this terror, he also finds strength, fueled by love for his family and the desperate will to protect them. His struggle becomes a battle not just against the spirit, but against the very realm trying to claim him. Back in the physical world, the tension reaches a breaking point. The possessed father becomes increasingly unstable, his behavior escalating into frightening outbursts that place everyone in danger. The family realizes that the line between him and the hostile entity is disappearing. Their race against time intensifies as they work to free him before they lose him forever. The investigators piece together final clues, revealing the connection between the spirit's past crimes and its current obsession with the Lambert family. The puzzle becomes clear. The spirit's power grows through fear, control, and the emotional fractures it creates. The climax builds with breathtaking tension. The battle unfolds in two realms at once: the living world, where the family struggles to survive the father's possessed state, and the further, where he fights to reclaim his identity. Every moment feels stretched to the breaking point. The shadowed figure haunting them reveals its full, disturbing form. The confrontation is violent, desperate, and emotionally charged. Lamps shatter, furniture crashes, and spectral forces lash out with furious intensity. Yet, through the chaos, resilience begins to shine. The father fights back against the entity inside him, pushing through its suffocating grip with memories anchored in love and family. In the further, he confronts the ghost in its own territory, bringing light into a realm of shadows. The family, refusing to abandon him, performs their own desperate actions to sever the spirit's connection. Their faith in him becomes the key to overwhelming the darkness. In the end, the entity's tragic origins become the very thing that weakens it. Once its secrets are exposed, once its pain is acknowledged without fear, its power begins to crumble. The final moments are a turbulent blend of grief, revelation, and release. The spirit's hold shatters, freeing the father from its grasp and breaking the cycle of torment that has haunted them for so long. As peace returns, the house grows quiet again, not with the oppressive silence of dread, but with the gentle calm of a storm finally past. The family emerges with scars, both emotional and spiritual, but also with a deeper understanding of themselves and the forces that tried to consume them. Their bond feels stronger, forged through trials that tested the limits of sanity and courage. Still, a subtle unease lingers in the air, a reminder that the world they touched is not easily forgotten. The further remains, vast and unknowable, a realm that brushes against the edges of their reality. Though their immediate ordeal has ended, the possibility of future echoes remains. The shadows may have retreated, but they never truly disappear. And so the story settles into a haunting calm filled with the bittersweet weight of survival, the lingering echoes of the past, and the unsettling sense that some doors, once opened, can never be completely closed.